Here's a psychology fact you're not ready for. Some of your biggest personality traits weren't chosen. They were survival strategies. Or let me ask you this. Why do some people feel guilty for resting, apologetic for existing, and terrified of disappointing others? This video might answer a question you've avoided your entire life. Psychologists call this narcissistic parenting trauma, and once you understand it, you'll finally see why you think, react, and sabotage yourself the way you do. Your relationships, your confidence, even the way you talk to yourself in your own head, all of it can trace back to one invisible pattern you learned as a child. But here's where it gets worse. Most people raised by narcissistic parents don't even realize it happened, because the damage doesn't look like abuse. It looks like normal. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Narcissistic parents don't raise children. They raise emotional support systems. You weren't loved for who you were. You were valued for how well you performed, obeyed, or made them look good. And that rewired your brain. And this next part explains why you still feel off today, even if your life looks fine on the outside. Let's talk about the 3 unusual traits almost every child of a narcissistic parent develops. Trait number 1, hyper-awareness of other people's emotions. You can walk into a room and feel the mood instantly. You notice tone changes, facial expressions, silence. Psychology says this isn't intuition, it's hypervigilance. As a child, your nervous system learned one rule. If I can predict their emotions, I can stay safe. So your brain stayed alert, always scanning, always adjusting. The dark part, you became amazing at reading others, but terrible at knowing what you feel. If that hit you, good. It means you've been living in survival mode longer than you realized. Trait number 2, chronic self-doubt and people-pleasing. Here's a harsh psychology fact. Children of narcissistic parents learn that love is conditional. You were praised when you behaved correctly, ignored or criticized when you didn't. So your brain made a deal. If I stay useful, agreeable, and quiet, I won't be rejected. That's why today, you over-explain, you apologize too much, you struggle to say no. You feel responsible for other people's emotions. Your mind thinks this is kindness, but the reality is, it's fear wearing a polite mask. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. This trait doesn't make you nice. It makes you easy to exploit. Trait number 3, you feel guilty for wanting more. This one is subtle and dangerous. You downplay your goals. You minimize your pain. You tell yourself, others have it worse. Why? Because growing up, your needs were inconvenient, so your brain learned. Wanting more equals being selfish. Psychology calls this internalized. Shame. Even now, when something good happens, part of you feels undeserving. Not because you are, but because you were trained to shrink. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. Your anxiety isn't a personality flaw. It's a childhood adaptation that never got turned off. So how do you break this cycle? Not by being stronger, not by forgiving faster, not by pretending it didn't hurt. Here's the mental shift that actually works. Start asking yourself one question daily. What do I want? If no one else's feelings mattered, at first, your brain will panic. That's normal. It was trained to survive, not choose. But every time you honor your own needs, you teach your nervous system something new. You're safe now, and healing begins when survival is no longer your personality. If this video felt uncomfortably accurate, you're not broken. You're becoming aware, and awareness is the first real freedom. So if you like this video, please subscribe for more psychology facts that will change how you think.